Hello guys, hello and welcome to another beautiful Monday. Yes, it feels good to be back here again. Welcome to our views on Sceneone TV. My name of course remains Waltified. No, today I have to do something official because my guest today shares my name. So let me tell you guys my name, the real name, not the TV name, not the radio name, whatever. My names are actually Walter Akonedayo Ude. For a lot of you that do not know, those are my actual real names. Now, the normal TV name y'all know is Papi, Waltified, and all of those things, so Waltified Papi. So later in tune of this show, you get to know why I had to spell out all my whole name, and that's why I'm all smiles and all of those things. Anyways, how are you guys? How was your day? How was your weekend? My weekend, let me start off with my weekend. My weekend was splendid. It's so fast that the month of October is wrapping up, and you all know that October is the month where we have to talk about breast cancer awareness month and all of those things. For those that have survived, for those that have lost maybe a loved one or whatever it is, basically it's a month where we celebrate every cancer survivor and to create awareness and of course teach people. So a very dear friend whose name is Femi Ogunsanwo, who's like the CEO of Blueprint 360, he initiated this campaign where you have to, he has to enlighten people about breast cancer and the whole lot of things. That's one. Now, so over the weekend there was a breast cancer picnic. Yeah, so it was tagged Lagos Family Picnic, which was a very, very beautiful name, and people came out in their turns. It happened like live at Morio Konla Park, and it was really, really beautiful. I wish I had the opportunity to bring Femi on this platform to like talk more, but maybe some other time. But as at this time, it's already over. So my weekend was basically that. I had to prep for what's it called, and shout out to Bo's Kitchen, one of our very favorite places that we like to eat. Someone who's also there, so we had a lot of eating to do and all of those things, and people came out in their turns. We had breast cancer survivors come talk about breast cancer. We have doctors come talk about breast cancer, which was really, really good. So for those who feel like, oh, breast cancer is about saying, God forbid it's not my portion, please always get yourself checked. When it's not just breast cancer, basically cervical cancer and what have you. So like guys, prevention, they say, or checking yourself basically is key. We're taught how to check breast cancer, and the funny part of this whole thing is the men are actually the best people that catch these things. Like one of the breast cancer survivor was trying to give us notes that it was her husband who found out the lump in the breast, and she's still alive today because of that simple act of maybe romance or something. Don't let's go into that details, but basically that's the point. So always get yourself checked. So this month is already wrapped up, and for those who have not done this, please go to any near, what's it called, we've had guests here come to the studio to talk about this same thing. So Shebekli and the likes, just go check it out. Be sure that you're fine, so you don't have to suffer a whole great loss. Okay, that's that about that. So my weekend was basically awesome, and I came through like, I don't know, for some reason, maybe because my weekend was jam-packed, I didn't get enough sleep. So coming to work was really, really tedious. Driving the whole way to the island was war and all of those things. And I still, at this moment, haven't gotten proper sleep. So I'm hoping maybe after the show, I'll probably sleep. So my day was good. My weekend was awesome. It was blissful. So guys, tell me how your day went. Tell me how your weekend, how it was spent and all of those things. And tell me what you ate today. Today, I ate amala that I've been craving for. Yeah, that's that about my day. So guys, after this break, when we come back, we want to talk about something very, very crucial. It is women in politics, and I have a very beautiful guest who actually shares my name. So after this break, after the time out, when we come back, we have a lot to talk about. A lot, hopefully a lot, like a lot. Don't go nowhere, stay tuned. It's still our views on Sceneone TV. Chi.
What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? Generally speaking, I'm a very popular person. People call me Big Don Shegsy. Some people do call me sweetheart, darling, and much more. But that's a private matter. Other people do know me as Shegun Shege or called Jennifer. Or sometimes in my spare time, I could also be Faz the bad guy. Ladies and gentlemen, for Jennifer's Diary, Industry, and much more bagging entertainment, keep it locked to Sceneone TV. Also, click on the subscribe button on Sceneone YouTube channel. Thank you so much. Kisses.
Hello guys, welcome back. It's still our views on Sceneone TV. I already unveiled our guest. Alright, so I have this very beautiful mama in the building. She goes by the name of, okay, let me start with, she's the Executive Director of Gender and Development. So that's correct, that's Development Action. So she is Ada Ajina Ude. Now you see why I mentioned my name in the earlier stage, because we actually share the same surname. Mama, I suppose that's your surname, Ude. That's your surname.
Yes.
Okay, good. That's
well,
your.
I have a compound surname.
Okay. Oh, it's
Ajina Ude. Yes, it's a combination of my father's name and my husband's name.
Oh, you just didn't want to leave your daddy, Sha.
There's a good reason for it.
Okay, I have a good reason. I suppose that's remembrance and all of those things.
Not necessarily,
Okay.
but it's part of it. You know, if you married maybe after you've gone to school with so many certificates and you have that identity.
Yes, you have to
very well established before you get
Yeah.
married. I think it helps if you retain it.
Nice. I think I like that.
That's the main reason, but it's also good to.
Okay, I think I'll put that back in my head.
Name
it's still part of the. I know a lot of people that do that, but some of them don't even have particular reasons. They just put it there because they feel, no, I don't want to part ways with my father's name, and I'm like,
they're entitled to that. So.
True, they are actually entitled. I can't force anyone for not doing that. So how are you today, ma? How are you doing? Good to have you. Good to have you. Pleasure having you in the studio today.
Thank you.
Hey, mommy, you seem a little like, is it the cold or?
No, it's not cold. You know, it's well. I'm trying to form.
Don't I just love her already?
Like that's what you call it.
Yeah, to form. That's it. That's what we call it. Anyways, well, how's it like getting here? A lot of my guests seem to have like a lot of story getting to this place.
No, I didn't have any problem. The driver is a professional and he used the Google Map.
Nice, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. So guys, see, Google Map is your friend. Use Google. You people just be there giving issues, trying to locate like we're living in some other island. But anyway, it's good to have you here. So, Mama, we're talking about women in politics. The first question that came to my head when I was told you're going to be my guest was, are you in any way aspiring to become, or if you were, because that was my curiosity, because I was wondering where, how, and maybe some way we could probably digress or give you more affiliation to what we're talking about today. So is there any way you are linked to you being in politics, or you are supporting one party or things like that?
Well, I have been a politician.
Nice. Okay.
That was in 1992-93.
Okay.
During the General Ibrahim Babangida transition period. I joined SDP at my ward level, and in fact that was my first and probably so far my last experience.
But why is that? Why is
politics.
that? Why?
Well, I really don't have a passion for politics for myself.
Okay.
I'm rather more interested in publishing and you know.
Okay.
So, but I happened to, after I left what I was doing, to join this NGO.
Okay.
Before I joined, they had done a few programs on women in politics.
Okay.
And you know, one thing with the non-governmental organizations, the more you do programs on any particular topic, the more experience you gain.
True. And
then the more the supporters, the donor community want to support you because they feel that you have experience in it. And it goes on and on like that. The more programs you do, the more experience you get, and of course the more interested you get. So that's how I really got so involved in women in politics. But it's also something I like anyway, because as time went on, I discovered that there's a lot of gap between men and women in politics. And
you've actually stated my first question. So let's talk about what is that gap? What is that gap?
The gap is that, like this, so far at this moment, the ratio of men and women in politics, in fact, the percentage of women at the National Assembly, I think is just 6 point something.
That's really
yes,
low.
yes. I don't have the exact figure.
Okay.
The exact figure, but that's it. 6 point something percent in a house of over 300 men and women. You have just a few women there, and you have it not just at the National Assembly. It's the same thing with the state assemblies, And then you look at the executive arm, there are just how many female deputy governors out of 36? I think we have in Lagos State, in Osun State, I think.
Yeah, you're
just
right,
a few.
Just a very few.
Yes, few. So it's quite worrisome, you know. The outlook is not...
even in the coming year of election,
exactly.
There are not a lot of...
No,
in
fact, it's going to be worse in 2019.
Yeah, it's going to be in 2019.
Yes,
it's actually going because
when
I've
you
checked
look at
every...
Yes, when you look at
no
the female candidates, that aspirants that scaled through to become candidates, there are very few. You know, we have one organization, GADA. In the process of doing our programs, we were encouraged by the UNDP to start a kind of association, a pressure group of women politicians.
Okay.
So today we have that pressure group. The name is Women for Equity and Fairness Organization of Nigeria. We have a WhatsApp group, and then we meet every month. So from there, a lot of the women who aspired, they didn't go through.
Wow.
So we are in touch with women in politics and in other groups too that encourage women's participation in politics. A lot of women that aspired didn't go through at all.
Wow.
At the state and federal level, I have a feeling it's going to be worse.
Actually, it seems that way already.
Yes.
So what seems to be the major problem, or what seems to be the... because I was going to ask this question, like, are women stereotyped to saying that, okay, they are the weaker vessels or something? What exactly seems to be that problem that makes them fit in this loop?
Yes, thank you. The stereotype is, you are very right about that, you know. Okay, this is, people are pigeonholed. This is where women belong. This is what they should do. This is what they are. And so among the things that they are, I think politician is not there. They're just beginning to push their way, or maybe I would say some of the men are beginning to accept that women can do it. So there are so many problems or reasons why the situation is like that.
Okay.
We generally, it's not even only in Nigeria, most parts of the world, we say it's a man's world, and then some people doubt it, but it is, because the society is defined in such a way that women take the back seat
while the men,
yes. So it's as if, okay, your place is in the family, you take care of the children, you take care of your husband, you provide food for the family, and then the man, his own arena is outside there, politics, public affairs,
everything,
other things outside the home. So that mentality spreads. So when a woman comes out and then she wants to hold public office, it's not very easily accepted by some people. As a matter of fact, some years back, an organization sponsored a research that was done in the Southeast, where the issue is, okay.
In Nigeria?
Yes, in Nigeria, yes, Southeastern Nigeria. Okay. So the question is, would you accept female leadership, at least at the presidential level? The majority of people said no. And then the reason is that, well, that is not customary. It's not good, yes, to have
customary. Really, guys, customary.
Yes, it's not the tradition to have a woman at the head. So it will. That's several years ago, anyway. Maybe I would really like somebody to
redo it. So let's see how far we've gone.
How far we've come. You know, apart from cultural, religious reasons, we also have finance. Yes. Because of the other barriers, you have to be in the other room and in the kitchen.
Yes, the other room.
Yes, in the kitchen. So you don't really, many women are not given that opportunity to go out there to make money. There's the areas where they can go out to do business seem to be limited. I remember when I was young, if a woman wasn't a teacher, she will be a nurse.
Or a shop owner.
Even shop owner, I think, well, petty trader.
Petty hair, that's what I was going to tell you. You know, now we've advanced it to shop owner being like...
Yes, in those days, it's either you are a nurse, you are a teacher, you are a petty trader, or probably you are a seamstress. So these were, professions or callings or whatever, you know, are not really the places to go and make money. The traders, yes, today male traders are millionaires and billionaires because they do big business. The women traders do petty trading. A lot of them stay in front of the house, put groundnuts, put pepper and tomatoes and all that. So even in business, the men are the ones that do the big business.
They don't allow the women take the fault, like the bigger chew of the...
Exactly. Then also, inheritance problems. Wow. Like in many parts of the world, for example, in the eastern part of southeastern part of Nigeria, yes, until
where we're from,
until recently, a woman could not inherit anything from the father. So the men have always had that head start. That okay, even if no matter how bad things are for you, you might still
see something to fall back.
You see something to, so that gives you an edge. So all these barriers come together also to deprive the woman of economic power. So they complain. We work with women politicians and they complain that their greatest problem is finance. That is, if you are able to break through the family. True. Because before a woman, exactly, before a woman aspires, your children will approve, your husband will approve, because the children and the husband are usually, I don't want to use the word afraid, but somehow worry, you know, that this lady, she will now come out, and some people who were hustling for the same position with her will start calling her names,
insulting
her. Yes, exactly.
And those that even do it the wrong way want to probably harm her.
Exactly, and also the violence in it. So they are scared. So many women who have gone into politics, especially to seek a public office, they have had to convince their children and their husband that they will survive it. So these are the obstacles. And then also, like I have already mentioned, that okay, if you are out there doing politics, who will take care of the children? Who will take care of the house?
That point is actually
exactly
noted.
If I come back, will I find a hot meal at home? And night meetings.
Impromptu emergency meeting.
Exactly. Even the emergency ones in the daytime are a bit okay, but the meetings that the husbands don't like are the 2 a.m. meetings. And politicians always say that they cannot do without it, because that is when the real
discussion
issues
is made.
Are discussed. Yes. So these are some of the problems that the women have. We also have problems as regards our constitution. Okay. There's this, people are supposed to be appointed or seek public office in their place of birth, something like that, where your constituency is your place of birth. It affects women. Because if a woman is married outside her place of birth, you find that she doesn't. Many don't stand a chance. A few women have broken that barrier anyway, but generally, where you are married, you are still they may love you so much all the same, but because public office in Nigeria is regarded as an avenue for making money. So a woman who is from another state, you come when there are so many men.
You want to come and chop it.
When there are so many men angling for that same position, and probably a few women who are born and bred there.
Who want to allow you come and...
So it always becomes an issue. So that aspect of the constitution, we have been arguing about it.
Okay.
Actually,
has anything been done about
we
that?
have made recommendations to the National Assembly, even written memoranda, and but so far we are still where we are. So these are some of the things that yes, the barriers that women have in politics.
So we're going to hold that thought for a bit. Let's go on a quick break because I'm already enjoying. I'm seeing reasons why, like just reasons actually this time around. So let's go on a quick break. When we come back from this, we still have much more to talk about. We want to now know what are the chances that women stand to gaining political positions, and we'll talk about those people that have even tried. There's a woman that ran for presidency in 2015.
Yes.
Ever since then,
we'll
come back from that. Let's just go on. We'll now talk about it.
Yes,
Stay connected, guys. Don't go anywhere. It's still our views. We're talking about women in politics. Don't go anywhere. Stay connected.
Hello and welcome to Sceneone TV. Are you experiencing any problem with our mobile app? Kindly contact our 24-hour online customer service. You can call us or send us a WhatsApp message on +234 8036 334229 or on +234 8090 717512. Our agents are always ready to respond to any of your complaints. To join the Sceneone family, all you have to do is download the Sceneone mobile app on Google Play Store or on iOS Store. Don't forget to also subscribe to our YouTube channel to enjoy free, hilarious, and entertaining content like Jennifer's Diary, Industry, and many more. You can also follow us on all our social media handles at Sceneone TV. Sceneone TV!
Nollywood at your fingertips!
Imagine, all they built in 3 years is one signboard, one gate house, and one house. Yours is even better. You can see one signboard, one gate house, and one house within 3 years. In my own case, after 1 year, there was no longer a signboard. All phone numbers were unavailable. Ego if you go.
What? That's bad. As for me, I'm glad my steps were ordered to remain in state phase 2. I saw their history, capabilities, their investment. What they put into phase 1 in terms of roads, drainages, I mean, the whole infrastructure. I mean, they're legit. I felt safe joining phase 2, taking advantage of their introductory prices.
Be smart, be wise. Key into Amen Estate phase 2 from just 10 million naira per plot, with a 20% initial deposit and the balance paid over a year, or homes from 37 million naira on the same terms. You too can live a quality lifestyle in a serviced development where everything works.
Okay guys, welcome back. It's still our views on Sceneone TV, and we're talking about women, ladies, the girl child, the gender that is of course the female in politics. And we still have our mommy here, Mrs. Adajina Ude. It feels good to be calling Agina. Oh man, Agina Ude. It feels good to call the name together, because my name is there too. So
yes.
All right. So before we went on that break, we're about to exploit people that have tried to gain like political positions that are probably extreme. What was the motive, and what was the reason why they were kicked out? At the point, I thought maybe because it was of the party. And at the same time, I realized that it has nothing to do with the party, because considering the statistics you gave as the what's it called that was taken, people have said, oh, they cannot allow women because they feel like no, it's not their place. So, in my own thoughts right now, what was the motive that made the woman run? Which is I think is Oluremi.
Shonaya.
Shonaya. Back that year in 2020. So why has she not now still continued?
I haven't been able to find out actually, because I was amazed. In the history of Nigerian politics, at least from the time of what do we now call it, republic, whether it's fourth or fifth republic, since we came back to democracy in 1999. Professor Shonaya is the woman that has had the best showing so far of all the women that had come out to contest for position of president. she scored almost 2,000 votes. It may not be anything compared with Buhari and Jonathan's millions, but when you look at the women who had vied before her, you get things like 500, 200, and things. Yes, so like probably just members of the family used to vote for them. But here is a woman who got votes from other people because she played issue-based politics. She seems to be very much aware of and familiar with the issues involved. And people were impressed. Unfortunately, she didn't make it for some of these reasons I have mentioned. Oh, she's a woman. And also, yes, you talked about party. I think the party also matters a lot. Because if one of the two major parties decide to field a woman, they will back her with money, with everything, and she will win. So, the shock, the surprise is that for 2019 election, there's a man, there's a male candidate for her party, for Kowa party. And when I saw it, I was surprised because this is a woman that if they give her a chance, probably 2 or 3 more elections, maybe one of the major parties will adopt her.
I say, okay.
Either as a vice presidential candidate.
And
yes.
That's a good one.
Exactly. But for them to drop her, I don't know whether it's by choice, whether she chose to step,
or the party just said nah.
Or whether actually the money politics problem. So, so yes, like you said, the party is also a problem because parties have this impression that women don't win elections. Yes. Apart from the fact that election has been so commercialized, being in public office is now seen as one of the shortcuts to making money. And when
not
it
for
comes
the job that needs to be done.
Exactly. So when it comes to anything, any type of scrambling, the women hardly stand a chance. So it's either whether the motive is that, okay, the women will not win the elections, or that the men are desperate because they see it as business, is still kind of shifts the women aside. Doesn't give the women the chance that is required for them to make it. Which is also why we've recommended several times to the National Assembly that the electoral law should be amended. Even in fact, the Constitution, the Electoral Act and the Constitution as well should be amended to allow independent candidates. Because you see that in some places, some women are so popular, so well accepted that
they choose to go for public office. They have backing.
People will vote for them, but the party will not pick them for some of the reasons I've already mentioned.
They rather go for someone they can mold and all of this.
Exactly. Things. So they very often they ask them to step down. They ask the woman, they ask the woman to step down. Some they settle them, promise them positions after the elections, or they just give them some money, and then the women, step down for them. So that is it. So we were hoping that if the act, the Constitution, and because the Constitution will have to be amended to reflect that. Because as far as the Constitution is concerned right now, anybody seeking public office, you will do so through a political party. But if it is amended, then the Electoral Act will also follow to give chance for people who want to vie as independent candidates. Then there's also, I'm
going to throw in the next one, which is, in this point, what can women now do? Because I just realized that you're, from where you're coming from, you guys are really aiding so much to help women.
Yes.
But what are women's role in politics? Let's even come to like a background clear. What can a woman really do? What can they add? In as much as you were saying something earlier, and it caught my attention.
Yes.
They are saying women have to take care of the home. Let's not forget that it was these women that took care of some of these men that we have that are political inclined and what have you. It was the women that gave them some of the backgrounds that they have.
Yes.
And except for those, of course, that are being changed into looking for the money instead of the goodwill of the nation or taking care of the nation.
Yes.
So let's not forget that women have also imbibed their children that have grown up to become whoever it is that they are in politics.
Yes.
Now, what are women's now? What are their roles in politics?
Well, the role of women in politics is not really so different from the role of men. However, one very strong reason why we need women in public office is in order to add the female perspective to the solution of national problems. You see, like you take any state assembly, for instance, or even the National Assembly, for instance, you find that a whole lot of ideas, when there's something for debate, maybe about 10 men, let's say in a particular house, whether it's a House of Representatives or in the Senate, where there's a very important national issue, during the discussion, just watch out. You will see that probably 3 or 4 men will contribute to it, and probably the voice of one woman is heard. Probably you won't even know woman at all, because the ratio is too low. Yeah.
So
exactly.
they are probably bullied by their presence.
Might not necessarily be being bullied, you know. When there are more men raising their hands to speak, okay.
I can imagine this scenario
naturally. So more men will be permitted to speak. So you are hearing, we are getting only one-sided aspect of these solutions to these problems in the discussions at the legislature. The more women we have, when an issue comes out, you will now start hearing women's perspectives, because quite often women, if you are a woman, you tend to see certain things from different angles. The way a man thinks about certain problems may not necessarily be the way the woman will think about it. So if more women come into public office, especially the legislature, you will find that certain thinking, okay, let me give you a very good example. Some years ago, there was this issue about child marriage. You know, our constitution has it that an adult is a person that is 18 years of age. But in another section, it says if any woman that is married is deemed to be an adult. So you can go and pick a 10-year-old girl, marry her, and then she becomes an adult. So while during the, I think that was 2013 or so, when there was this interest, we thought they were going to amend the constitution. That issue came up. You saw how men dominated the debate, and at the end of the day, that was dumped. Whereas that is one of the worst provisions in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That if you marry a minor, she automatically becomes an adult. If we had more women in the legislature, the debate would have been hotter, and there would have been more women.
Swept easily off.
Exactly. Unfortunately, some of the women, the few women we had there, because of pressure, religious and cultural pressure, their voices were not loud enough. Some even succumbed at the middle, kind of started backing off. So that particular provision still remains in our constitution till today. So it's an example of what would have changed if there were more women. Yes, if there were more women in the legislature. Even at the executive level too, policies. Although we are happy that many ministries, departments, and agencies are now being forced to have gender policy. However, the implementation is a problem. They write it down because they are required to have a
to be penned down,
exactly,
to be shown.
To have a gender policy. But when it comes to implementation, you find that
culture
they
starts
hardly,
to play.
yes.
Culture
but if such
own.
departments and ministries also have a balanced gender balance, where maybe the directors or PAMSECs or such people are women, you also find that they will ensure that such policies are implemented.
Nice, beautiful.
Yes.
Well said. I'm thinking of a lot. I always just change policies. Well, let's go on another quick break. When we come back, I'll show you we've really gone so far, but when we come back, we're going to wrap up the show. Don't go nowhere, guys. It's still our views on Sceneone TV, and trust me, this is getting more interesting. So for those of you that want to run for, offices and public, positions like that, when we come back, I'm sure Mommy has advice for some of us. But stay connected. Don't go nowhere. After this break, we'll be right back.
Welcome to Amen Estate.
Oh yeah, let's talk on the matter. You see the light never blink when you act.
Everything clean and proper, and there's no place better.
You know, Amen, safe and secure. Now you know, everything safe and secure.
When you define anywhere with a show.
Even if you're from abroad, Amen Estate you should call. Always the package you sure. So go tell your sister and your brother, tell your friends and family, they happy not.
So don't get left behind. At Amen Estate you will find peace of mind.
Amen, safe and secure. Everything safe and secure.
Welcome to Amen Estate, brought to you by Red Brick Homes International Limited.
Alright guys, welcome back. It's the All Views on Sceneone TV. A lot of people have been asking about Amen Estates, but I'm sure from that ad you can get more information. And if you want to purchase a land or house at Amen Estate 1 is gone. A lot of us have claimed it. I'm claiming now in Jesus' name. So for Amen Estate 2 is still on sale and all of that. So guys, go check it out. If you have uncles, aunties, brothers or sisters, or even your dad or mom that wants to purchase, it's a very beautiful place. Trust me, like very, very beautiful place. Conducive environment, uninterrupted power supply, water, and like the list is on and on. It's like a new nesting ground. Very beautiful place. All right, so that's that about Amen Estate. So back to I think I have like 4 questions in one, but let me see how I can just break them. So how can women be given more opportunity, right? That's one. Okay, let's start with that then. I'll know how I'll infuse. How can women?
Yes, for instance, I have already mentioned that if we have independent candidates, it will help women.
That is a very major.
Yes, it will, because political parties generally make it difficult for women to come in. Another thing that we have been asking the National Assembly to do is to change our electoral system. The electoral system we have in Nigeria today is called first past the post. That is, once you get the majority votes, you are okay. Yes. But some other countries, they have what is called a proportional representation, whereby every segment of society is represented. You have the youths being represented, women being represented, at least women and youths. So political parties, they do the elections and then they present their lists. A proportional representation is done in several ways, but there's the one that is called list proportional representation, where parties send their lists. Women are usually able to negotiate positions in the party list for positions. Then there is also a type of electoral system. I think it goes with this proportional representation, whereby there are designated constituencies for women. for instance, we may say like in this Lagos now, we can say Lekki, only women should contest in Lekki. So every party's candidate will now will be a woman.
So they will look for a designated woman that they want for that position.
Exactly, and let her come.
That's beautiful.
Many countries, some of the countries where we have women, where the ratio of men and women are almost at par now, that is one of the things they do. They have constituencies.
So let a woman rule.
Yeah, they have constituencies.
Let's start from lower,
in fact,
like chairman
yes,
or chairwoman.
When we mention it, they say no, it will bring mediocrity. People, it doesn't follow, because if you you say, okay, let's say Lekki is a woman's constituency, you are not going to pick the uneducated woman. There are very many competent, well-educated
in your ward, or that are very
exactly that the
pick
parties can pick, who will hold their own in any assembly. So these are some of the things we are recommending. We recommend the independent candidate, change in the electoral system. Then we also recommended, which has actually been done, but unfortunately in the typical ways that we do things, it's no longer functioning. Since 1998, we had recommended a trust fund for women politicians, because it's an emergency. We cannot continue to run a country just men alone. It's not right.
I'm looking at other countries that have female president, prime ministers.
Exactly, it's not right. It's not right. So since we know that one of the major problems that these women have is funding, we recommended a trust fund for women, which was actually set up during, I think probably during either Yaradua or administration, or Jonathan, of course, two of them. Yes. So there was a trust fund was set up, and I remember that in 2011, women who were able to become candidates of their party benefited from that fund. But as of today, that fund, I'm not sure
it still exists,
that there's any money in it.
But who are the people funding it? Who are they?
Well, it's partly it's government, and then of course public, private sector. And it's just they raise fund and put it there. Yes, and then so that when there are women candidates, they benefit from it. Then that's one of the recommendations. There's a trust fund for women today, but I don't think
the money has, some people have just don't understand.
Well, probably not people. I won't say it was mismanaged. I'm only saying that a lot of money is not in it. People will rather go and give money to, when multi-billionaires' daughters are wedding, you carry coal to Newcastle. But certain humanitarian
duties,
yes,
are not really
the Nigerians are not really very much inclined to give their money to just causes. It's better they will give it to somebody that will look at them, so that maybe in future when the tide turns,
they would remember. They could remember, because that's how Nigeria is. For everyone that I'm seeing that is supporting some campaign is doing it for the end game. Like, okay, when this person gets into office, there's something in there for me. Not about change nation or change. They just look for the end game, which is their own concern. All right, so it brings me to this next question.
So please let me say something that's very important that almost escaped my mind. There's something that is called affirmative action. Although I have mentioned some of the ways we can implement affirmative action. Affirmative action is, if there is a kind of disadvantages, if a set of people are disadvantaged, you must come up with certain measures to bring them up. I think, like I was saying, this proportional representation also helps to bring women up. But there should be, we feel that it should be a law. It's a policy today that nobody is implementing, that there should be at least 35% of women in all appointments appointed positions and elective positions, and the political parties are supposed to make that happen, you know, but they are not doing it. That is the problem. So we want it to be put in the constitution. When we now have equal men and women in the legislature, then we can remove it from the constitution. Because the way it is today, just as an ordinary policy, you can see that nobody is implementing it.
It's not even like
a lot of the political parties in their constitution, they will say, oh, the women will not pay nomination fees, they will not. But this time around, a lot of the women I spoke to had to go to cough out money. A lot had to step down because they couldn't get the money. And these are parties that promised to cut it. Wow. So, you know, when you put your nomination fee at 20 million, and then you say, okay, we give women 5% discount, how much? How do you intend to run? Yes, how are they going to get the rest? You know, so these are what we amount to affirmative action. Taking special steps to make it a little bit easier for women so that we can get at least that 35%. Actually, the ideal is 50%. That is the ideal. Still talking about 35% is so, well, it's simply because we have found ourselves that we are not moving forward.
True.
So we still fall back to say, okay, 35%. But 35% is not ideal. It's not in a country where the population is almost 50-50. The difference between the male and the female population is just very small. And in fact, before, the women used to be more. Yeah. It's only in the last census that they came up with the abracadabra.
Everyone said abracadabra. All right, so it brings me to this next question. Yes. I know the women, the feminine person or woman is being considered very emotional and a whole lot of things like that. So it brings a lot of things to people saying, how well can a woman represent when you hold that? It would be unbiased, it would be how well, you know, we have this saying that the woman's place is in the kitchen, the woman, like Barry said the other time, woman's place is in the other room, probably his wife and all of that. But how well being an emotional being, more emotional being, you know, men are more, I don't know how to, what word we use for ourselves.
We are all emotional. The only thing is that men are brought up to pretend and suppress and suppress their feelings. Women are more encouraged.
Wow! to express their emotions.
Every human being is imbued with emotions. But let me go to the main question because I don't think we have so much time. Yes. Well. When you look at, you simply have to look at women who have held the topmost political positions in their countries. Are you not impressed with like Angela Merkel?
Yeah.
Yes. When Indira Gandhi was there, she did very well. Well, look at
and these people stayed, they were not just there for a year, they were there for a number of years.
Exactly. Johnson Sirleaf, Ellen Johnson in Liberia, here in Africa, she did well. So it is not that women will not do well. What we are saying is that they should give women a chance. Okay. And when you say, okay, women are emotional, I think there are also certain times when you actually use your heart in taking certain decisions instead of your head. Your head, yes. So in such circumstances, of course, women will be much better. And also, when they talk about corruption, when you look at the ratio of women in top positions and the men, and then the number of them that have been accused of corruption, you find also that women don't have that much tendency to...
But in our Nigerian, we've had a lot of them, like, I don't want to start mentioning...
No, I'm not saying that women, I haven't exonerated them, but I'm saying that also it is, it's more, you know, men are more involved. Some people say that probably it's because we don't have enough women in public office, so you won't have a lot of them. But I think that if somebody who has been striving to take up a certain position, you know, for so long, and then the person eventually gets it, the person will be very careful, yes, not to mess it up. So I think women leaders are usually more careful in their leadership, so as not to soil their names or to say, oh, okay, you see, because it's a woman, we said it before that women shouldn't come. That women shouldn't come. So the examples we have had of women presidents, women heads of government, they have done very well. I believe that a woman, if a woman is a president or a governor, she will do very well.
Yes, beautiful. Yes. Let's talk about where you are an executive director, which is the development, the gender and development action. What was it about, basically, before we wrap up the show? What is it about? Like, what is it?
Okay, what we do is a non-governmental organization. Okay. We are committed to gender equality and women empowerment, also sustainable development in Nigeria. Okay. So these are the things we do. Our programs run across, violence against women, advocacy against violence against women, advocacy against domestic violence, women in politics, gender equality in whether it's in the educational sector, health sector, also about women's health. We advocate for policies. Our advocacy, we do policy advocacy, which is mainly targeted at public office holders. Okay. We also do social advocacy, where like all these cultural biases, and so we advocate to heads, traditional rulers, some traditional authorities, and such people. I remember, like any time we have a program to promote women in politics, okay, we actually go down to the traditional rulers to help to encourage their people to vote women. Yes. So these are some of the things. Everything concerning women and the girl child, as long as to promote their rights, to make sure that they enjoy their God-given rights, either through legislation, yes, either through legislation, through policy, actions, direct initiatives that will benefit them. These are the things we do.
Very, very, very beautiful.
Yes.
All right, any final advice as women that wants to inspire, that feel that, but somehow, someway, they just feel backlash, like, no, it can't work.
Yes, and they should continue. I always tell them, I said, the current president tried 3 times and succeeded at the 4th time. Women have that tendency, if they try once or twice, and you don't blame them because they don't have a lot of money. You go and take the little money you have to go and to run for public office. At the end of the day,
I'm sad already.
Yes, you don't even stand any chances at where your position is very far from the first position. You do it once, you do it twice, and then of course your family will start saying, maybe better pay more attention to the children, or that and that. And so I will tell them not to give up, and also beg their families not to discourage them. They should continue. And then another thing I want to tell women too is, if you are interested in politics, for heaven's sake, try also to build yourself up financially. Try and build your business, have a source of income that will be sufficient for you to take part in politics, especially vying for public office, because you cannot just come out. I know a lot of women. Yes, I know a lot of women who come out. Oh, because we need women. Then you come out. Then you start going about begging people. Yes, in some countries, if they see that you are very good, they may contribute for you, but not in Nigeria. People will rather give the money to the daughter of a wealthy person who is wedding.
Who they will somehow get back their money.
And a sort of investment. So it is strongly advised that a woman who hopes to run for public office should actually be interested in the type of business.
Having a solid financial background.
That will give her money. You'll find so many women also who make the mistake of, because of the way women were introduced into politics in Nigeria, a lot of women think that politics is you go and cheer up anytime the governor comes out, you go and clap for him or dance for him. Or maybe you may not, these days they are ashamed of clapping and dancing. But you come out there, they will bring you go, once in a while, he calls you for a town hall meeting or whatever and gives you 500 naira. And then you think that you are a politician. A lot of women who claim to be politicians don't have party cards. They don't even pay dues. I remember when I was in SDP, you pay your dues. I still have my SDP card today. Wow. By SDP, I mean the original Babangida SDP, not the current SDP.
Not the current SDP.
No. I played my last politics in 1993.
Which was the original politics.
Exactly. No, not necessarily.
I know what. SDP. Now it's been filtered. Now
ask a lot of the women who go about claiming that they are politicians to bring out their party cards. They don't have. It's only when they say, all APC people should come, they tie their wrapper and go there. Ask them to bring out card, which was why during this direct primaries at APC, they told them, you go and pay your dues, bring your card before you can vote for anybody. I think it was very good because it would have forced the women. Women think that politics, a lot of women, in fact, most women who say they are politicians or they are in politics, just go there for, they are giving some cups of rice. You go and get your own.
And they fly their card and they collect their caps or collect broom.
That's all.
Or their
that is not serious politics. I've told them that before. If you are not paying your party dues, you are not contributing money to the party. You are not a member of the party. And that is why when the time comes for you to vie for public office, the party member, the party hierarchy, they disregard you because you don't add any value to the party. So my advice, one of the pieces of advice I will give to women, so-called women politicians, is that you should actually become a woman politician. You register, you make sure that your name is in the party register, you're paying your dues, you attend the meetings, join a caucus in the party and attend the caucus meetings. Then you are now becoming a serious politician.
Then slowly you climb
Yes,
up the ladder.
let your own money also
be
part of the party coffers. It is not only they say, Lagbaja says we should come and carry rice, you go and carry rice. They say we should come and take beans, you go and take beans. You belittle yourself. Because you continue carrying rice and beans and they're clapping for people and they're cheering them up. Then maybe one day you say, okay, let me go and do local government councillor. Nobody will reckon with you. But if you join the party, you make donations, you pay your dues. If you speak, people will listen.
Because you've done what is right already.
Exactly.
Nice, beautiful one. All right, guys, it's been an awesome one. Trust me, we'll keep going with this conversation on, and time is fast spent. It's already 9:45 minutes. Show is 1 hour already, which is quite interesting. I'm not so much of a political, but this is something that I'm interested in because it has to do with the opposite sex, where being given an opportunity to do something which is right, and you've heard the advice. Simply start by becoming a true, full-fledged party member. Pay your dues, get your card. There's a card here. Get your card, pay your dues, attend your meetings, and from there you slowly climb up the hierarchy. Then you start throwing in
volunteer.
Yeah, volunteer.
If they need people to do something, volunteer. Let it not only be when they are sharing rice and beans. All
right, guys. Thank you so much for coming through. Thank you. This has been insightful, and I hope a lot of people have learned, especially our female audience, and for even the male ones that have like female brothers, sisters, siblings, even your mom, anybody. Try and support them because it's a great cause. It's not just one person going; it is the backing of everybody that makes them great. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I still remain Waltified. Wait, before I go, how can they find your the gender and development thing on social media? Do they have a handle? Or?
Yes, okay. We have our branch in Port Harcourt I think Gather at Livelihoods or something like that. Maybe I will send it to you.
All right, no problem.
We here in Lagos, the head office, we have a website.
Okay.
I don't know. You check the website.
Okay, but I'm sure if they Google,
yes,
this will
then
come up.
Facebook, Port
Harcourt.
Port Harcourt branch, and then Lagos headquarters. We are on Facebook.
All right, so guys, go check them out.
And I'm on Twitter.
All right.
Also.
But what's your Twitter handle? So I have my card here. So okay. No, I'm going to spell it out for them. But it's your name. It's your name, right?
Yes.
It's your name.
Well, and somehow.
Okay, I understand. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been I learned actually. I have actually learned. So if tomorrow anyone picks up and say he wants to, I'll support. If there's no money, I'll tell you to calm down first. Let's look for money to pursue the great cause. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. I remain World Quite Happy, and have a great night. God bless you. Sweet dreams. See you guys on Thursday for our one-on-one with our celebrity. Bye. Adios. See ya. Catch ya. Bye bye. Later. Thank you so much.
I think I've had so many Twitter handles. I don't even know the name. But I'll check it out now.
Sorry, it's not.
Oh my God. Okay.
Family members they call every day. As we they turn up, they ball every day. I'm a boy, they go, they talk every day. No pain, no gain, they walk every day. I want to kuro ni shoro, ni shoro. No more jagiri jagani go.